up? My name is Jeffrey L. Wilson, lead analyst at PCMag.com. Today, I'm joined by Jess Joho and Jordan Miner, and we're going to discuss the recently unveiled PlayStation 5 and all the announced games.
Giddy up.
Yes, Jordan,
Yes.
first question. The console itself, what do you think?
Well, we complained for years that all these consoles just look like boring black boxes, and Sony clearly heard us. So they put out this thing that looks like one of the clone aliens from Episode 2 of Star Wars.
Love that. Yeah.
Yeah, it has a very, as someone who's not a console gamer, I'm more on the PC side, and I have a Nintendo Switch. I don't really have a dog in this race, but I really did kind of like the fact, like you said, that they kind of strayed away from the typical, rectangular box. It has kind of weird edges and, the blue, white, and black kind of color scheme.
Mm-hmm.
Jess, you saw it
Yes.
just before we started recording. What did you think of this?
Yeah, full disclosure, I picked up through Twitter a lot of the news, but I did not watch. But what I will say, so I do games coverage, but I also do sex and relationship coverage, and specifically high tech like sex toys. And the minute I saw that PS5, I was like, that looks like the latest in female pleasure. It's curvy. It's curvy, but then the design. I'm intrigued. I guess is the best word for it. I can be generous.
Dual sense controller.
Yeah, exactly.
Haptics controls.
Haptics controlling. I just think they're leaning in. I'm interested. I'm intrigued. Sony, you've got my attention. Let's say that.
Right. I guess that's a good thing. People were talking about the appearance. If you had another rectangular box, would we really be still talking about this machine?
Exactly. Yeah. I can't imagine the Xbox isn't going to be just that. I do imagine it's going to just look like another.
Oh yeah, it's just a huge like. It looks
right.
like
We
server.
already know.
Yeah.
I don't know. We already know.
yeah. It's basically a server in back of a closet somewhere.
So I do appreciate that it's different.
And in terms of, the game reveals, Sony's presentation was it was over an hour. Was it 2 hours?
It was like a little over an hour.
It's a little over an hour. They showed a mix of first-party stuff, some third-party stuff, some AAA stuff, mid-tier, some indie stuff. Jordan, anything catch your eye?
Well, I was, and I still am, really excited for Spider-Man Miles Morales. Because I thought that PS4 Spider-Man was pretty cool, and Miles Morales is a dope character, and just the trailer just reminds me that hip-hop and Spider-Man imagery are just such a potent combination. Mm. But now, today, there's been a lot of confusion over whether or not it's a standalone. Well, today, as in when we're recording, they might have clarified this. But there's a lot of confusion over whether or not it's like DLC or how standalone it is. Because I get it's only been 2 years. It's a launch title, so the idea of it not being a full-fledged Spider-Man 2, I get, but they're the way they've been kind of advertising it has been a little confusing.
A Sony executive said that Miles Morales was part of the remastered Spider-Man for PS5, and that was a part of it. But then, Jason Scheer over at Bloomberg got a quote saying that it's actually a standalone game that is smaller in scope, but it's still a full-fledged standalone game.
It's interesting to me. I've actually written about this, about how a lot of stories for people that have been marginalized, whether it's women or LGBTQ people or people of color or any combination of those things, always get sequestered into a DLC, almost always at first, Left Behind for Last of Us. It was we'll give Ellie her DLC. And then also Naughty Dog. I loved it, Lost Legacy, but it originally started as an Uncharted for DLC. And then they were like, oh, it's too big. We got to make its own game, which I really appreciate, actually, because it was a great game. And it was 2 women of color leads.
Assassin's Creed, Freedom Cry.
Yeah, exactly. It's always DLC. What? I should tell us something.
Yeah. There was this game for PS3 pretty early in his life cycle called, it was called Starhawk.
Yeah.
But that kind of came out and gathered no traction. It was the same year where there was an Assassin's Creed Vita game, Freedom Cry. Is that what it was?
Which people loved. That was a great game. That was
Liberation was the
Liberation.
Freedom Cry was the 4 spinoff.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Right. So you're right. It's always like, here's this, I hate to call it secondary content because
Mhm.
a lot of work is going into these things, but it's never
The main dish.
they're never the main dish. It's a
Yeah.
very delicious appetizer or
Yeah.
dessert, but
Yeah.
not the main dish.
Exactly.
And hopefully, with all these developers and publishers talking that really good talk right about now,
Yes.
that'll
Yes.
that'll change in the future for people of all walks of life. So
Yeah.
But Jeff, what about white women with kind of indigenous aesthetic and dreads in weird robot future land?
Oh no.
Because you'll get that with Horizon Forbidden West coming to PlayStation 5.
Oh my god.
that definitely got a sequel without
People love that
question.
game.
Oh, they love it, and I don't understand. Everyone
I
kept
don't get
telling me
it
like
either.
everyone kept telling me like you're a girl, you're gonna love this. I'm like,
Wow.
what? Like every time I talk about like women protagonists, they'd be like, oh my god, have you played? I'm like, what is this? This game isn't about, and then it's like kind of about women. It's like about like I don't know, a robot mom. I don't really know. I have no idea. All I know is
Robomom?
that I don't know. I don't actually know, but has some sort of motherhood theme that everyone was like, you'll love it. I'm like, where is it hidden? I can't find it. But and yeah, and I can't get over her being Alloy and everyone's name being a like metal but pronounced wrong. Like I don't
Oh, I
understand.
didn't even know that. Okay.
Yeah, they all have like really bizarre like tech related or like it's like I don't know. I just thought the whole world was a joke. It looks beautiful. I will not like take that away from me. It looks gorgeous, but like at this point, like that doesn't catch my eye anymore. Honestly, I was really interested in what I saw on Twitter about a cat with a backpack. Can anybody explain that to me?
Oh, yeah, it's called Stray, I think. And
Yes.
yeah, there's like all these robot homeless people, and you're a cat. I
What?
don't. That's all I got out of it. It looks
I'm
neat,
down.
though.
I'm very down for that. And then there was another. 1 minute. I'm catching up on the news while we're doing this.
This is real time, folks.
Yeah,
Real time.
Yeah. You're getting real reactions.
Yeah, there was a good mix in that show. I thought
Mhm.
of Sony's like big guns and smaller things, and I'm kind of like glad we're in a state in the gaming space where there's literally game types for everyone now.
Mhm.
You can have like the big blockbuster experience, you can have a nice mid tier, or you have like a really indie experience, and none necessarily are better and worse than the other. It's what you're into.
Yeah, they had
Totally.
Bug Snacks from the creators of Octodad, who
Yeah.
pulled that team. Just
Oh, I love
eating,
Octodad.
eating bugs that are all. It's like kind of gave me Viva Pinata vibes with all these kind of candy
Viva
animals.
Pinata.
Mhm.
Wow, that's right. I forgot about that. So let me ask you. There was no price announced for the PS5,
Yeah.
and this game is not that. I mean, the system's not that far away.
Mhm.
Is that an issue? Is Microsoft and Sony playing a game of chicken? See,
Yes.
scared to go
Yeah,
first?
that's what I think. Yeah.
Yes and yes. And I also feel like, I mean, like, yeah, it's not that far away. And like some people would have to start saving now to afford that, I think, and that's like a huge part of accessibility problem. PC games is a whole other issue in terms of accessibility, in terms of price point, but
Mhm.
consoles are go-to, right? So like that's going to really affect, I think, who these games are available to,
Mhm.
the price point. And it just being like this thing that they're not talking about is like not cute at all because of that.
Yeah. Yeah, so there's a model with a disk drive and a model without. We will assume the one without a disk drive will be cheaper, but then you'll run into storage issues and
Right.
Right? Isn't Call of Duty the latest one? Is a Modern Warfare that's had about almost a terabyte of updates?
Yeah.
Oh my
And
god.
if you're relying on strictly a diskless system, you're gonna stack up on external hard drives in order,
Yeah.
unless this thing somehow has magically a tremendous amount of storage built in.
Or they
And
somehow figure out cloud gaming, which I don't expect.
Hmm. Man, if Google can't figure it out, it's gonna be
There's not that gonna
it might be a hard sell.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, games we're excited about. What I was excited about was Deathloop. Uh, it's being published by
Bethesda.
Ubisoft.
Bethesda. It's from
I think.
the Dishonored people.
Right.
Oh.
And it has kind of like this grindhouse movie vibe about these two black assassins who are just like going at it and trying to kill each other. I remember there was an E3 trailer last year, I believe,
Mhm.
that showed a lot of the gameplay, and it has like a gimmick about dying and being reborn. So maybe it's like a Groundhog's Day with
Yeah,
assassins. It
yeah.
sounds
Or
nice little
Live, Die,
pitch.
Repeat, or whatever.
Oh, Edge of
Mm,
Tomorrow.
Edge of Tomorrow, I mean.
that's
Which
right.
Live, Die, Repeat is a way better name. I'm sorry.
It's both. No, they kept going back and forth.
Yeah, they were like, your choice.
Yeah.
uh, yeah, that sounds really interesting. I saw mostly the cat backpack, so I'm like, super excited for that.
Mm,
I was excited for the Resident Evil 8 Village
Mm.
trailer.
mm.
I compare Resident Evil. I don't know if this will make any sense. I would say Resident Evil is a Sylvester Stallone of video games, in that when it's good, it's
Mm.
really good, and it's
Yeah.
had some real artistry sometimes, but it's also very prolific, and a lot of it's not good. But
Mhm.
Resident Evil 7 I thought was really good, and this looks like a follow up to that, with that kind of first person style and the main character from that. So we've had these remakes, RE2 and 3, but to kind of get back more to that RE7 style, I think looks pretty neat. And just the whole village setting looks so much like RE4 to me that it makes
Mm.
the idea of remaking RE4 seem like even more pointless. But
Mm.
Also, like racism. Isn't that the game where?
no, you think of RE5.
Oh God. Okay.
Yeah.
Uh,
Although RE4 they're speaking Spanish, but they're in like a fake.
yeah, aren't they in a village? It's like a white dude going into like a Spanish-speaking village and like just killing a bunch of.
But it's
Yeah.
like a Spain Spanish. So,
Oh, okay, yeah. I guess it's fine
Mm.
because it's Europe.
Europe,
complicates it a little
Spaniards.
bit. Yeah, I don't know.
But yeah, in general, I think like they're coming up to that point where they're like, it's gonna get uncomfortable for us to remake these games.
Mhm.
Uh,
So when you saw the initial moments of the trailer, did you get a sense that it was RE? Because
Well, I
there's
read all the
a lot of rumors floating around about a new
mm,
Silent Hill.
Oh,
yes.
right.
That
So
never
that's
came.
what
Did
it
not
never
come to
came.
fruition.
No, it didn't. Unfortunately, it did not.
I will never
Uh,
trust again after that. PT is my favorite video game of all time. Anyone who doesn't think that's a video game, come fist fight me.
Wait,
Um,
what's the debate about it not being a video
because
game?
it's a playable trailer. It's not a video game. It's not like a
RE7
full-
cribs so much from PT. Like
I know. Literally, we owe PT everything that
Yeah.
has been good in horror games ever since. So yeah, and I can't believe we gave that up for Death Stranding. That's another topic entirely. But yeah, that is disappointing. And like it's definitely been hinted at in like, I'm done being teased, like I'm done trusting.
Mm. So let me ask you, what we know of the Xbox so far, what we know of the new Sony machine so far, if you were going to pick a platform this fall, what would you go with?
I have a bunch of Xbox controllers still, but I'm really not sold on either one of them that strongly. Honestly,
I think-
I didn't get an Xbox. I didn't get an Xbox until even like I didn't get that at launch either. Like I've waited till it was cheaper and there was just a more compelling library. So I feel like I can do that again this time, unless this job presents a good enough incentive.
Yes. I've always been, I started out actually like 360. Xbox was like my first like that generation console, and I find that controller like is not built for lady small hands at all. I had to like grab it like this. They've made it better since I've heard, but like
My girlfriend calls it brolic.
it's yeah. It's not. I can't do like the dual. Like you have to like grip it. It was a horrible thing, and I just generally felt that Sony has always courted more of like people that are interested in indie games. I know Xbox has made efforts, but if you're someone who's into narrative games, I think it's like the exclusives on PlayStation are just like, it's all Naughty Dog games. I mean, like, I don't know if I could it's Journey, it's a bunch of different, historically at least. We haven't seen it. I don't know. Actually, I don't know. I don't know what exclusives they have in the original slate, but it just feels like they always pay more attention to what I care about in terms of exclusives. I don't care about Halo. And that's what it comes down to when you're buying a console, in my opinion. The specs, when you're a console gamer, I don't think the specs really are what's going to sell you.
Are you not concerned about the many teraflops that it has?
I know.
What about ray tracing on Clank in Ratchet and
Yeah.
Clank?
Yes, of course. I'm very concerned.
So in terms of features,
Yeah.
what do you look for in terms of features from a console?
Mm.
Does the Xbox's backwards compatibility or Play Anywhere appeal to you? Does Sony's
Yeah.
new tech with, they're saying they can drastically reduce loading times with their new
Mm.
SSD tech. Does
Mm.
that sway you in any way?
Yeah, that's an interesting question. I think for me, the features like the backwards compatibility thing, if I can relearn English, is to me like that should absolutely just be there for both of them, and it's outrageous that it's not, and that's a feature. But but it wouldn't be enough for me because they're always making remasters anyway. And if I love a game enough to replay it, I'm probably going to buy the remaster. And for me, the loading screen that does to me influence more of your experience, which is like, it is kind of like when you're immersed in a thing and then you have a loading screen, you're just totally taken out of it. And I think that would be actually an interesting thing that we could present to developers in terms of an interesting like design edition. Like I think that to me, features that would influence how developers design or their ability to design experiences is what I would be looking for.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I joke about Ratchet and Clank, but what's it called, A Rift Apart, the way they're like hopping between these like wholly different scenarios, like on the fly, people are saying feels like them showing off with the kind of the new SSD stuff.
Totally.
But to your question, Jeff, yeah, like I think Microsoft historically has been a better kind of software company, and I think stuff like backwards compatibility and the smart delivery, where if you buy the Xbox One version, you just get the Series X version, and
Mm-hmm.
Game Pass being pretty cool. Those are pretty compelling, but yeah, it just the actual games, like exclusive games, are gonna win out more for people. Like I don't care about Demon Souls, but for people who do, like that remake is gonna that's something that only Sony has.
Mm-hmm.
And it's also tricky because, at these events, at these reveals, you'll see a game presented during Sony's event or Microsoft's event. And you're not quite sure if it'll appear elsewhere. It's like, is this really an exclusive or is it going to jump ship in about a year or so?
Yeah, and the timed exclusive, like what does that even mean? It's like, oh, for a month, it's going to come out on the PlayStation first, and what? Okay.
Right. It's wild, and I really hope that when these consoles launch, they'll at least both be under $500.
Yeah.
$4.99. That'll be
$4.99. There you go. That's penny saved, penny earned.
You want it, Jeff.
It's wild. It's wild.
Yeah.
But yeah, Sony's box looked good. A couple of interesting looking games to come out the gate. So yeah, I'm looking forward to the fall and seeing which games hit the platform, and hopefully we get an announcement for a price somewhat.
I'm also low key wouldn't be surprised if all this stuff going on the war right now pushes like a last minute like delay until like.
I mean, even Apple is delaying the 12, right? The iPhone 12. Apple is. I'm pretty sure delaying the iPhone 12 specifically because of production line interruptions. So I can't imagine. I mean, they all, make their hardware in China, I'm assuming, but it's probably a pretty good assumption. So like it's so dependent on what happens with the pandemic, and nobody knows.
Yeah, that's a good point, because quite a few of those games that were announced at Sony's reveal were 2021 games. Like I believe GTA.
Yeah.
The new stuff for GTA 5.
Yeah, GTA 5 finally.
Yeah. We've been waiting so long.
I feel like a quarter of my life has been spent talking about GTA 5.
I know.
But yeah, that's the Sony. We're going to see what's going to happen in a few months, whether them and Microsoft duke it out and we get happy gamers across the world.
Let's hope.
I'm Jeff Wilson, Jess Joho, Jordan Minor.
Thank you.
See you next time.